I'm going to be live here in a second, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what I can do to see what the comments are. I hope that my volume is okay. Here we go. And then YouTube link. Turn that off. Turn on the live stream. Hey, Andrew, what's going on? Andrian, what's happening? Okay, yeah. So, want something funny? I like literally look up my name on. Hey, Eliza. I literally look up my name on Reddit relatively frequently, just because. KFK, what's happening? Just because I'm so egotistical that I want to know what people are saying about me, which is so funny. Young Long, JD Fields. That's not even on the forehead yet. Nah, I'm not even putting them on. I don't put them on my live streams anymore just because it's so annoying. I'm like, what's the point? Hey, Z-Line, what's happening? Hey, Linda and Iha. Countess Iha. Well, you might be Duchess. Duchess Iha and Countess Linda. No, like, I'm literally like, I just got so sick of always having my glasses on that I was like, fuck it. No more. Like, the glasses are a great brand. Seriously, do you guys ever see somebody with sunglasses on and not immediately think of me? I was on some genius shit when I decided that branding. I mean, that's kind of normal, though. Yeah, it is. Well, okay, I probably do it more frequently than you do. I, like, do it very frequently. Like, there's some days I do it multiple times, looking at myself up on Reddit. I want to know what people are saying about me. Then I see that, like, it's a top voted comment. I'm, like, freaking out. So awesome I can interact with you from another content. Yeah, isn't it? I love my fucking lives. They're neat. Hey, from Drury Trail Islands. What's happening, Mishy? I'm frustrated, angry mood today because of my narc, but weirdly your lives make me feel better. Aw, I'm glad. It's really funny, isn't it? Oh, fuck, I gotta take my meds. That somehow a narcissist makes people feel better about their narcissists. You need glasses with a tint that says narcissist across them. I want to get like a sponsorship where I like have like these sunglasses, right? But like it says like nameless across like the little whatever the fuck this is called. What the fuck would this be called? The ear support? Finger a narcissist on yeah. One sec. I'm probably gonna go get some water. All right, back. I'm back. You guys better not have revolted against me. Oh, shit. It's an ear arm? So there is actually a word for it. That's fucking insane. I'm enjoying your skits. You have a gift there. I love the verbiage in them. Aw, thank you. Yeah, I'm really proud of the skits. I need to start doing more of them. I only did the 2 so far. But, I mean, it's hard to find, like... Because I want them to be along the theme of, oh, if a narcissist was honest of themselves, but I can't really think of many more things to do in regards to that. The narc arm. Nameless is a very standout name, perfect branding. Right? Right? What are your thoughts on the dark empath? I feel like it just describes on like some cluster Bs. Hey, Noisy Glamour is here. What's happening? Countess Noisy Glamour. So, like, here's the thing. Like, there's only one study that really talks about it, and they basically just talk about people with high cognitive empathy and low emotional empathy. And that describes people with ASPD and NPD pretty accurately. Okay, I question the degree that cognitive empathy is intact in these disorders because I'm projecting my own motivations on everybody. But at the same time, it's like, why do we need the term dark empath? I think, like, it just doesn't resonate with me. Hi, Sandra. Do glasses put the logo along the bottom of the lens and a Ray-Ban logo, right? Right? See, this is what's awesome about my lives. I love when like people like you guys can like talk to each other and shit like that. Because don't get me wrong, it happens in the comments sometimes, but not nearly as interactive as here. I bet Eliza will have some skit content for you. Why specifically Eliza? I mean, I'm down for suggestions, though. Katina Bantra. I can't pronounce her name correctly, but she blocked me. She blocked me on TikTok. We actually followed each other for a little while. We got into a little spat where she accused me. I'm not sure if she actually accused me, but she said she was joking. But she was like, imitation is the best form of flattery, I guess. And I was like, don't accuse me of that. But then we were fine. Then she blocked me like out of nowhere. I don't know why. This first time I caught you live. Well, nice to see you, Danny. I'm glad you could catch me. Yeah, Katina Bantra. Is that the right thing? But yeah, like, so we don't get along, I guess. I don't know why. I'm cool with her. It's funny. After we interacted for the first time, she posted 2 videos on how to manipulate narcissists, which I'm like, okay. Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I went on this whole rant about it because I was so pissed off. So I just was like, no, I can't let this be posted. I just don't get it. I don't know why she blocked me. Laura, what's happening? She's like the opposite of the narc creators I follow. Yeah, I don't like that she... That's the thing. I don't like that she gives people advice on how to manipulate. Because it's like, hey, aren't we supposed to be focused on healing and shit like that? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, explain why you do things. I love that. But, like, damn. Can you be a narc without the excessive need for admiration with regards to DSM-5 since you only need 5 of the characteristics? Technically, yes. Technically, you can. But that it's the most honest. Okay, technically you can. I think it's one of the most central symptoms of the disorder, though. It is also the most common. And I can't imagine like what you would be doing as a narcissist if you didn't need people to affirm you all the time. I get loads of narc content ideas. I feel like it's not a flex my situation. I'm sorry. You didn't do or say anything wrong on that stream. I like to think I didn't, but I was still like, I didn't want drama. Like now I don't really give a shit. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. She hates me. I don't know why. But yeah, still. Yeah, and she does have comorbid MPD as well. I was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. I learned a lot from you to get better. Thank you, man. Oh, I'm glad. Because, like, yeah, that's a big thing of why I do, well, not why I do it, but, like, that really makes me happy when I do this, is that I'm like, oh, other narcissists relate to me. Which, 2 reasons that makes me happy. 1, it gives me weird feelings. So I'm like, oh my God, people like me don't feel so alone like I always have. But the big one, another big one is, oh, my imposter syndrome is way better because other narcissists relate to me. Thank fuck. I always feel like I'm faking my disorder. I don't know why. So when people accuse me of it, I get like super angry. F5's here. What's happening, dude? And yes, 11K subs. I'm fucking, it's buck wild, ain't it? I'm fucking growing so goddamn fast now. I fucking had 20, I mean, fuck. I've only been doing this for like a year and now it's just blowing up. Everyone in narcissists have empathy, but every other symptom is glaringly obvious. Well, actually, interestingly enough, only 53% of 44% of narcissists lack empathy. So it's actually more common to be a narcissist with empathy than without it. But you could argue that, like, okay, who knows, like, what they're defining as empathy? You know what I mean? But I never met one. I've only met, like, 3 narcissists in my life, though, so it's hard to say. Curious, have you ever, did you think that you were a narcissist before being diagnosed, and what was the main thing that felt led you to self-awareness? I suspected it. I knew that there was something off, obviously, like before anything else happened. And I knew narcissism was a thing, but the only reason that honestly, it was because of, like, you go online and you research narcissism, it's all fucking lies. So it's like, why would I can't relate to this. Obviously, I'm not a narcissist. The first thing, the main thing that made me seek self-awareness was because I felt so lonely all the time. Still do, I hate it. Thanks for that. See a lot of focus on lack of empathy. Yeah, I know. People view it as the central part of the disorder when it's actually not even in the majority of narcissists. And not to mention, like, that is not the drive. I feel like lack of empathy is a symptom of our self-absorption and need to get that affirmation, right? We're willing to try. Oh, fucking Cluster Milkshake's here. What's happening, Sarah? Breakup there. Did you guys break up again? I'm sorry. Oh. Everyone check out Cluster B Milkshake if you don't know her already. But yeah, I need to watch your interview with the psychopath video. People call me a psychopath, and I say, actually, it's a sociopath. But I always appreciate the compliment, right? Psychopaths are so much happier. I'd do that. The irony is to me that MPD creators are using their creating to feed their MPD supply. It is, and well, honestly, I do too to some degree. I'm never I have other motivations now and it's weird. It's hard for me to really grapple with. But yeah, I do. I fucking want, but like there's some others, I'm not going to call them out or anything. And Sarah, no, you're not one of them, who it's so obvious that they're trying to pander to an audience that will affirm their preconceived notions about narcissism just for attention. Hey, V Bliss is here. What's happening? Glad you made it live. You actually highlight my narcissistic traits to me. Not sure how I feel about that, although I do chuckle a lot about it. Is it weird that it makes me laugh? No, because I would too. I'd be like, yeah, I do have that narcissistic traits. I do that all the time, like where it's like I pretend to be ashamed about something, but I'm actually kind of proud of it. This is the worst thing about it is being alone feels like you can't keep people. Yeah, fuck. It's so compounding. The loneliness is by far what fucks me up. It's honestly the reason I stay in therapy is because I'm like, I want to connect to somebody one day. Yeah, when I'm on fire, how would I know somebody else splinter a broken toe? Exactly. That's just how narcissism is. It's like, I have this desperate need to prop up my self-esteem because I hate myself. And it's hard for me to pay attention to the people that I'm like, oh, well, their problems aren't that bad because I am so focused on that. And I feel like that's where the lack of empathy comes from. I might be a little bit more on the extreme side of lack of empathy because I have ASPD traits, but I have no idea. What's the core difference between sociopathy and psychopathy? So sociopaths are actually very neurotic. They're very unhappy. My sister's a sociopath. And they are way more impulsive. They're not calculating. People who are psychopaths are like your fucking Ted Bundy types. Not actually Ted Bundy types, but they're very calculated. They don't feel like most emotions. They're very cold. Also, Discord mom, what's happening? There's some very big differences between them. Sociopaths are more like, I always describe sociopaths as like the extreme version of borderline, but they lack remorse. Could you do a video on how narcs react? Eliza says, could you do a video on how narcs react when someone tries to get them to go to therapy? I would. I might not, though, because there's an issue because in my generation, stuff like that, therapy isn't viewed as like a bad thing. Like, I feel like I get praised for going to therapy, right? So it's like, I would need to find an older narcissist to kind of describe how it used to be. I think my ex has paranoid personality disorder, but has so many similar traits to narcissism. I learn a lot from you, and I can't find as much on PPD. Well, first of all, thank you. I'm glad you're learning. It's an issue with all personality disorders is that there's not much content on any of them. Even on narcissism, there's not that much, especially from lived experience. There are some big overlaps with PPD and... Oh, Countess Karen, what's happening? There's some big overlaps with NPD and PPD. And they can look very similar if you're not like entering into their internal experience. You know what I mean? When my dad died, I faked crying. Yeah. Like, I don't fake crying, but I fake being sad at funerals. Because, like, you don't want people to know that you're, like, fucked in the head. You know that it's not acceptable. If you were a bisexual narcissist, would you be open about it or think society would view it / you in a negative, pitiful way, like you were less of a man? Ooh, good question, because like the cultural aspects of narcissism, in my opinion, are so important. Me personally, well, you have to keep in mind, I used to be a far-right extremist when I was still, like, as a trauma response before I became self-aware and stuff like that. So I probably would have hit it, like, a lot. But if I was outside of that, I think it's a mixed bag. I feel like I could use that for attention a lot. And also that expands my ability to be able to appeal to certain people to affirm me by being interested in me sexually. I wish my man would do a YouTube channel or something, right? It would basically be a healthy source of supply and basically his only source, of course, exhausting. Yeah, I imagine he needs like constant reassurance from you and shit like that. Because I do. That's probably like the worst parts of my relationships is like I rely on them for like, oh, you think I did okay, right? Like, what do you think about me? Did I do this right? Like, did they like me? Like constantly. But I want my exes to do a narcissistic abuse channel. Like one of my exes in particular. I think that'd be hilarious. Do you think sadism should be a thing? Like diagnostically? Because I have mixed feelings. Because I'm like... Because I feel like that borders on pathologizing abuse. It's like, oh, I'm killing people and that's because of mental disorder, and I don't agree with that. I think that mental illness, because mental illness is something that we need to treat. If you're like, and then like trying to pathologize people for doing things outside cultural norms when they aren't actually suffering, I feel like that's dangerous for people who have mental disorders that need to be treated, right? You say don't gaslight people on purpose, but believe you're saying. How do you believe a lie? Oh, it's so complicated. I wish I could... It's weird. It's like in the back of my head, I know it's a lie, but in the front of my head, it becomes like part of me and part of my persona and like part of who I like. It's like I believe it, but I don't. How do I put it? I really wish I could. Why do you crack your knuckles all the time? I don't know. Is it annoying? Also, hi, Grant. But yeah, like, yeah, and you're right, Grant. It does feel true. It's the emotional versus rational brain. Emotionally, I feel like my lie is true. Rationally, in the back of my head, I can kind of accept that it's not. But, like, it is true, but it's not. But it is true. It's so fucking complicated. Is cracking my knuckles annoying? I'm sorry. I just do a lot. Now, it's just like a compulsion. Okay, KFK says not annoying. Good. Well, I don't know. I got schizoid tendencies diagnosed, but I'm known for being a narcissist. Don't know what I am. So, my best friend is a schizoid, and we do have some overlaps. Like he lacks, but like the biggest difference, because we both mask, we both lack empathy, we both kind of view people as smaller. There's some hidden grandiosity in schizoids. I think the main difference is I desperately need people's approval. He doesn't at all. He doesn't care what people think about him. He even finds it annoying sometimes when people express opinions on him. How do you deal with anger? The thing that's helped me the most is whenever I get angry at something, I ask myself how serious the situation is. On a scale from 1 to 10, how serious is this? And usually what I'll notice, and then I'll ask myself on a scale from 1 to 10, how intense is my anger, right? So if it's like a 3 in terms of like seriousness, and my anger is at like fucking 12 usually, then I'll take a step back and be like, okay, let me return to this when my anger is proportionate with the seriousness. Oh fuck! I missed Cluster B Milkshakes live with Ruth. I wish I would have caught that. I would love to see your video about how schizoids and MBD are similar. I'm sorry for the cast, but insight is impossible to find. I know it's more similar. I'll interview my best friend, actually. I'll try to do that. Because I don't, I don't have like a video quite on that. I'll make one though. Do psychopaths feel fear and want the difference between the primary, and what's the difference between primary and secondary psychopath? Well, I'm pretty sure F5 is still here, so he can give you some insight if they feel fear, but to my knowledge, they don't. But like, yeah, I don't feel fear, that's why they're like, they feel like not nearly as many emotions, so they're looking for stimulation all the time. Again, factor 1 psychopathy, which is psychopathy, then factor 2, which is sociopathy. It's like again, sociopathy, they're super neurotic, they're super impulsive, they don't think about things, they both lack remorse, but they're very, like, sociopaths are way less functioning, and psychopaths lack a lot more emotions, I guess you could say. No, it's not Seth, KFK. Have you done one on BIFF communicating? I honestly don't really know. BIFF. I don't know what exactly that is. I don't. Sorry. But no, when I refer to because like, so I have my hierarchy, and Seth is like at a similar level, but in a different way. I can't say his name because he's schizoid and would get super pissed off at me, but my schizoid friend is who I call my best friend at the very least. Seth has some cluster A energy though. Personally, I don't feel so. F5, our resident psychopath, says personally I don't feel fear, but I've heard psychopaths that can. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Cluster B has some amazing videos lately. Last one about what she appreciates about every person she is close to left me speechless. So I gotta look that up. Karen, would you mind actually making a comment reminding me of that, because I do want to watch it. How much do you... Hey, Andrew McBride's here. He is now part of the Cluster Buddies Club. How much do you think you've healed? Sometimes I worry I feel as much as I'm going to. Because it's like, I'm sure, since you're a narcissist, I'm sure you understand that, like, no matter how much you heal, there's some of those things that are just kind of inherent. Like, that inability to connect to people, I don't know if I'm ever going... Even though I really crave it, I don't know if I'm ever going to get past it. Or my lack of empathy, that doesn't really go away. I feel like I have learned to use my narcissism in healthier ways, and I've learned to manage my anger better. Those are the big ones. Any reason why narcissists would act more like a parent to you and treat you as more of a child than a partner, like talking down to you? Well, it's because of our hierarchical thinking, right? You're above or beneath us, and if we view you as beneath us, we're going to almost infantize. I don't know. We're going to treat you as lesser than, and that will probably make you feel like a child because we view ourselves as above you in that hierarchy. Jacob, yes, you didn't mention it last time. Who is it? Who is it? Andrew. I'm always curious how much healing is possible with trauma, BPD, and MPD. Like I always say, like, we're going to be able to change our behaviors in ways that are healthier. But we're always going to be wired incorrectly. I'm always going to think that we're different. That, like, oh, Andrew. Okay, we're always going to think a little bit differently. Sorry, Andrew is very much upsetting me. But yeah, like, you're awful. I love it. Yeah. Noisy. Countess Noisy. Yeah, I love it too, but still. I also hate it. God, I want to know who he reminds me of. Who I remind him of. Fuck me. And it's going to be like someone super stupid too. It's like, you remind me of you. And I'm going to be like, fuck me. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, I'm always going to think like a narcissist, but I can change my behaviors in order to be more pro-social, so to speak. Andrew Savage, it is. Oh, what's going on, Judy? Yeah, James Dean, that makes sense. Does the cluster B remember anything good about their people? All right, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to look at it. See, and like I actually saw that, like, it came up on my recommended, but I didn't watch it. Which I find it interesting because, like, I do remember good things about my people, and occasionally I fall into like this neurotic state where I'm like, oh my god, I miss them so much. But usually it's like emotionally, I don't. Emotionally, I don't. Nothing that they do I can remember as good or view as good. But rationally, I know it's good. It just doesn't matter. Like, I always use this analogy of, like, imagine if somebody took you out for dinner, right, and paid for your dinner, but they killed your dog. That wouldn't matter, right? Like, the idea that, like, they took you out to dinner, that doesn't fucking matter because they killed your dog. That's kind of what it feels like. Could you consider that you're black and white? You're looking at black and white. Even normies don't connect all the time nor feel every feeling at the same time. No, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's partially black and white. I agree. So, and especially like the I can't, the I don't, stuff like that. Why do you act like nothing happened after a rage or major incident? I don't understand why you're upset or because it's over. You know what I mean? Like, it's over. Like, I have lack of emotional permanence. So I'm like, why are you still upset? It's done. I made a joke, so we're happy now. We're good. It's weird, I know. Yeah, like, that's the thing with the Discord invites. I don't know why, because I set them to be active forever, but then they just don't. They still expire. I don't know what's up about that. Are you religious? No, not really. I'm open to religion and religionality. I just don't. I've never engaged with it a bunch. It's crazy how everybody looks like a narcissist except for me due to projection. Yeah. That's literally it, because we assume that everybody else thinks like us, and like that feels so natural to us. Like, it's hard for us to understand other people's motivations. Jacob, how's your Stoic journey going? Are you still practicing Stoicism from the great philosophers? Yes and no. Like, I don't actively read Stoicism anymore, but like I still try to, like, I can only control myself and my reactions. Like, I need to be like still stoic. I need to like not react. I still try to practice that, but I'm not as invested in it anymore. Hey, Super Spiritual is here. What's happening? Hey there, do you deal with being absolutely alone when there's no one around? I don't. It's hard, especially if it's for a prolonged period of time. I just don't. Like, it depends how long I'm alone, but I'll inevitably go into, like, I'm usually reciting things in my head, like conversations. I'm usually reciting, like, what I'm going to say to them, practicing, thinking about past conversations. Like, I cannot think in first person. It's just second person talking to somebody else. Thanks so much for vulnerability of your content. Thank you. Have you ever gone beyond to feign empathy for your partner? Yes. Asking as my partner self-diagnosed him with NPD, but he also made a accountability contract where he wrote a 60-page document acknowledging behaviors, seemingly demonstrating reflection, true empathy. Seems like a lot of effort, given that he wrote these things when we were stable. Does this sound potentially on the fringe of NPD? For me, I'm constantly trying to fake empathy. I'm like, because don't get me wrong, like, I tell people that I'm like glad their healing's going well and stuff like that, because I feel some degree of compassion, I think, nowadays. It's really weird. I don't exactly know what the emotion is, but yes, I take a lot of effort to try to fake empathy, especially for people that I really want in my life. Also, hi Mar. It's because I know that people won't like me if I'm not empathetic to some degree. Just be more patient than Jacob, you'll live. No, they won't. I won't live either. I won't. Why threaten to butcher your pet or harm you when you're leaving then? Well, fear of abandonment causing threats with a more sociopathic person than a narcissist. I can't say whether that's more sociopathic or narcissistic, but I can say that I would never hurt an animal. I wouldn't be able to deal with that. I like animals too much. I very much I wouldn't be, but I can see how some of my narcissistic drives could lead to some angry outbursts like that. If they're purely narcissistic, that may be more of a bluff than anything. So is there nothing someone can do to be seen as good in your eyes if they try to come back from no contact? Personally, it's pretty easy to for me to forgive somebody depending on the situation, but usually it's like I still want that person in my life again. I'm just too proud to admit it. I'm not saying like go to your narcissist and be like, oh, like fucking forgive me and stuff like that. But for me, I'm always like very eager to forgive people because I want them back in my life. If you come back and you apologize and say you did all wrong, fucking like I'm good. It's all good. I forgive you. I need to eat. This is probably going to be a short stream because I desperately need to eat. Who the fuck just asked if Jacob likes feet? Did somebody ask me that? See, that confused me because you say yes, but Sarah says no. Yeah, I've actually noticed that me and Sarah like have a difference in that way. Like it might just be a difference in our traits and how our symptoms present. I think it just might not be universal to narcissism in that way, or maybe I'm just weird in terms of narcissists. At the end of the day, it's like they're all their own person, right? Every narcissist is different. I say there's always as many presentations of narcissism as there are narcissists, but yeah, it's pretty easy for me to forgive somebody. Andrew at Pride, why are you like this? I'm literally going to take how many characters that is and try to find a movie with the same number of characters. Do you notice any avoidant qualities in yourself? Not really, other than the shame and fear of what people think of me. I notice those like a lot. Those are like the biggest, but I don't avoid people out of that. I need to go prove to them that I am worth something, that I'm great. Other people with MBD has told me they don't like apologies because it feels like manipulation. It does. It does sometimes. If I'm no contact with somebody for a long time and they apologize, though, usually I think it's genuine. But yes, sometimes apologies do feel manipulative. Here's a hint. Okay, yep, so I'm saving that. I am going to look that up once the stream is over. GL... Unless you're just fucking with me, because that would really suck. Don't let Andrew have significance. Too late. Too late. He has made me fixated. My childhood trauma always hits me. I can't forgive and still feel angry thinking about it. I deserve better. Same. Until if they come back and apologize for everything, I'll be fine. But yeah, until then, I will be brooding about it. I'll be like, they're worthless. I hate them, etc., etc. Do you think the dark triad such triad will ever be a thing? And what are your thoughts on Machiavellian? I don't think it's ever going to go in DSM. And I think that's probably for the best. Because Machiavellianism is a trait that a lot of normal people, in quotes, have. My zodiac sign is Gemini. And then, narcissism is in the DSM, obviously. And psychopathy, it goes under ASPD. Apparently, those are, I think that, like, honestly, a dark triad could just be summed up as Factor 1 psychopathy. Did you ever stop smoking nicotine? I did, but now I'm back on it because I'm a piece of shit. I think also BDR living you, what's going on? I think the confusion is that internal splitting. Probably. I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but yeah, probably. It's just an art trait caring what people think because I cared when I was younger, but as you get older, I couldn't give a crap anymore and you're still young. I think it can be, it's the degree of effort I put into getting people to like me, right? That I can't have somebody dislike me. I think it's very normal for people to want people to like them. But the fact that the lengths of manipulation and effort I'll put on to get people like me is different, and how desperately I need people to assure me and admire me and stuff like that. Do you see the argument that me and that one guy got in the other day? I did not. What was that? I'm also a Gemini. What's your moon? Also Gemini. I'm double Gemini. The main characters in the movie wear aviators and leather jackets. Interesting. Is it like Grease or some shit? Because that makes sense. I've been compared to Danny Zuko so many times. What's your rising? I actually don't know my rising. Do you recognize a borderline when you meet one? No. And so how? I need to talk to somebody for like days to be able to tell if they have a disorder or not. I need to enter into their internal experience. Good job. So it is Grease. What was the second part of it? Oh, hey, Jessica. Countess Jessica. I'm good. My narcissist told me that he doesn't want to visit me because I'll convince him to stay. Then that means that he still likes you. I mean, like, for me, it's like I'll break up with somebody and I'll immediately miss them and I regret it. And I don't know why. It's really weird. Lightning, but I remember Lightning isn't in the title. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, okay, Grease, but what the fuck is that last, like, part of it? Can you tell somebody who's a borderline? It's a pretty insulting question. Oh, I mean, again, I can't, but is saying a borderline, like, dehumanizing? Because I understand. Because, like, I use narcissist or a narcissist pretty freely. So saying a borderline or borderline, like, doesn't really occur to me as bad. Do you always attract the same type of woman in a relationship, or are they all different? Usually narcissists attract empaths. I don't know like who attract, like, I mean, like, here's the thing, it's pretty general for me because, okay, I'm like a gregarious, like, young, attractive guy, not trying to self-aggrandize too much, but like usually a lot of kinds of people are attracted to me. I'm usually attracted to people you might consider empaths because I'm always like, oh my God, this person is so virtuous. They're so great. They're better than I could ever be. I love them so much. They can finally accept me. You want love, but you'll push it away if you follow that theory. Oh God, yes. I'm horrified at the idea of being known because I think they'll hate me, but also I want them to know me and accept me. And also I fear abandonment. It's a terrible, terrible combination of things. I think the question of whether or not you can tell somebody has a personality disorder when you meet them is pretty insulting. I can see why. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't really consider it insulting, but that's just my personal opinion. But it's like, you can't. You literally can't. I have never met somebody who I've immediately been able to be like, oh my God, you're a narcissist. Oh my God, you're a borderline, unless they tell me. Do you unconsciously divide your intimate partners into mothers, promiscuous, decadent women to be polite? And are you only emotionally invested in the latest, meaning the ones who challenge you? I am definitely only attracted to women who challenge me. Oh my God, I need women to challenge me. I need it so bad. If they just, like, I can't stand women who, like, allow me to walk over them. I don't really consciously divide them. Well, I divide them into worthless and the best thing ever. Do high-functioning narcs exist, and if so, what's the difference between high and low-functioning narcs? I mean, like, kind of, I think to have a disorder, you need to be kind of low-functioning, personally. But at the same time, I can see somebody considering a narcissist who, like, has a pretty successful, like, professional life, but a bad social life as high-functioning. I wouldn't agree, though, because I think that the social aspects are just as important. If they challenge you, do you rage? Depends how they do it, and what they're challenging me on. Yeah, when you say somebody loves me, I rather tell them if they hate me. Yep, I literally can't. I can't deal with it. Somebody looks me in the eyes and tells me they love me, and I look away in shame. It feels like I'm tricking them or that they don't actually know me. I had a girl once take my head in her hands and force me to look at her when she said that because I would just do it so unconsciously. I wouldn't even realize I was doing it. You can be high functioning in some, oh, by the way, hi Ruth. You can be high functioning in some areas and low functioning in others. Agreed. Yes, people consider professionals as narcissists who have no problems. It's so stupid. Yeah, I agree. Because, like, it wouldn't be a disorder if every portion of their life was great. They're just arrogant. Feet free pass. Are people talking about feet? Do you ever try to convince yourself that the person you were with wasn't a good person and no, it's not true? Yeah. Yes. It's usually me ruminating on it, trying to think of every bad thing they did, trying to justify myself why they were bad. Usually it's a little conscious, a little unconscious. Quiet borderline. I don't know much about quiet borderlines. Why narcissists lie in your face even when you show them? I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't lie if they showed me evidence. I would have to back off and rationalize it, and that's usually the case for me, that I'm rationalizing it as opposed to lying to your face. I can lie. I have no problem lying. I don't really understand why some people do. I don't see that there's any intrinsic value in telling the truth. I only don't lie because, like, maybe a partner is very sensitive to lying. Who's intelligent and book smart, but his emotional intelligence seemed like a toddler throwing tantrums. Yeah, exactly. And that's what would be considered a high-functioning narcissist. I think that's the only way that you can be high-functioning. I couldn't imagine being high-functioning, in quotes, like, completely. I always find excuses. Yeah, like, I'll rationalize it. I'll be like, oh, well, you fucking, like, that's not what I meant, or you deserved it, or whatever. I wouldn't, like, blatantly, I mean, I guess you can consider rationalizing it lying, right? And that's, like, so, yeah, I guess I do lie about it, but, well, not as much anymore, but, you know. I do that to escape punishment from parents. Yeah, exactly. You and my husband are so similar, and he's a CEO. I guess the only difference is that I married him. He should thank me for his current job. Oh, that's funny. I wish I was a CEO. I plan on being a corporate overlord one day, but I'm too low functioning right now. I consider myself a low functioning narcissist. Do you ever idealize your ex, or is always remembering them in a bad light? Personally, for me, if I'm drunk, I'll idealize everybody. I'll be like, oh my God, what did I do? I'm such a terrible person. They were so great for me, and I fucking ruined it all. Thank God you got help before that, though. Yeah, honestly. I really lucked out that I got intervention so early on in my life. Really lucked out. Do borderlines need to have hallucinations? Can you just have super high trigger emotions? Well, I mean, that's transient psychosis is only one of the symptoms, so yeah, you can. I don't know that many borderlines who hallucinate, honestly. But I guess it depends how you define hallucinations, right? If it's just a dissociation from reality, then I would say every borderline does that. But if it's like literal, I'm seeing shit, I think that's really rare. Hallucination is not a key symptom, but it's not uncommon. I haven't met one, but definitely it happens. But I hallucinate, but I'm cluster A. Yeah, you guys are on the schizophrenia spectrum. I've had psychotic depression before. I don't actually know what psychotic depression is. I have to look into that. Are narcissists very defended against recognizing the grandiose self? Is there a high level of self-deception involved? Well, I mean, like, we think that we are better. Like, okay, this is how I used to rationalize it when super anxiety chick, hi. How I used to rationalize it when it's like, oh, it's not grandiosity if I'm actually better than them. And that's a very common narcissistic thing from what I know. Because, again, we view things hierarchically. So people can't be better than, or, like, we have to realize that the hierarchical structure in itself is pathological, not just our standing in it. Do you still have trouble in not acknowledging that your coping mechanisms are part of the reason others react? Yeah, I still struggle with it. Because it's weird. Even when you know that you're being irrational, it still feels so true. And I don't... It's bad. It's bad. Like, that's why I always say, self-awareness doesn't fix anything. That's just the first step, is being able to recognize what the issues are. I'm still a narcissist, even though I know that I'm a narcissist. I'll eat in like 15. I'll probably leave this stream pretty early just so I can eat, just because I don't want to spend time cooking when I'm live. Yeah, caught between two worlds, exactly. It's the irrational/emotional brain. Do you want women to challenge you, or are you attracted to the idea, but then you end up being intimidated by them? I'm never really intimidated by them, but yeah, I do want them to challenge me. I'm always looking for that woman that's going to be able, like, not put me in my place, but like stand up to me. I don't like women who just I walk over. I don't respect them. I also don't know. It's hard to explain. Does ghosting mean the narcissist is completely done with you? If I ghosted, yes. If I ghosted, yes. Because the reason why I would ghost is because I'm too ashamed to tell them outright that I don't want to talk to them. The only time I've ghosted people has been when that shame was so intense. Sorry, Dia. Can I, let me see if I can untime out her, since that was a mistake. I can make her a moderator. Don't want to do that. Not that you'd be a bad moderator, Dia, just saying. And then they apologize and then the ghosting is done. Yes. If I apologize to somebody, then I will not be ghosting them anymore. I ghost people because I don't feel nothing for them and too exhausted to fake. Interesting. Because I just feel fucking embarrassed. I'm like, I can't tell them that I don't want to talk to them, and I don't want to talk to them now. And I don't feel anything towards them if I'm ghosting them. I might fall back into that if I'm drunk, though. It's really just when I'm drunk that I do shit like that. How long do you have to be away for it to be considered ghosting? General question, I guess. When they never talk to you again. I guess, because I can ignore people for a while and not be ghosting them. Are you open to doing a live stream Zoom call with paid members? Is my preference to talk over texting? I've been considering it. I might. I'm curious what this chat is going to look like after 30 seconds. Feed emojis. I need to think about that, because I always get nervous about doing like stuff like that, because I'm like, oh, what if they have a question about like they're a narcissist that I can't answer, and then won't feel like, because like I struggle answering questions like, you know, why is my narcissist stalking me? Because I'm like, well, they probably have more problems than that if they're stalking you, but I can't relate to it, so I can't really answer, and you spending time and trying to ask things. Please do lives with subscribers on TikTok. I'll consider it. I don't know how I would do that, but yeah. You feel remorse then? Is it remorse or shame? That's something that I struggle with discerning. Guilt, shame, remorse. Fuck, I can't tell them apart. You could send some boundaries. I could. Would YouTube even let your mods, you the paid members, live stream? I don't know. I gotta look into that. Why'd you get so attached to your BPDX, in your opinion? Why so often make you after breaking up? Please tell me if you don't want to answer a question about your BPDX. So personally, what I think it is that when somebody breaks up to me, I feel worthless. and I feel this very intense negative emotion, and I mistake that for love. So I'm constantly trying to go back to them, and then they'll split on me and cut me out. So it's like, So then, like, it happens enough times, and, like, I guess that's where the trauma bond comes in, is because that happens so many times, and I can't distinguish that love from the feeling of I need to have this person to convince myself that I'm worth anything. I did bad guilt and is I am better, so that's how I understand. Yes, wait. I thought shame was I am bad. MBD's communities on Reddit and all the internet are generally surprisingly good at holding boundaries. Yeah, I know, right? I love the MPD communities, especially when they talk about me. I love it when they talk about me. This life is the most people yet. No, it's not actually. Yeah, there were 75 earlier, but it actually doesn't. When I went on with Spirit Narc, we had 90. It was crazy. I was like, whoa. I'm open to co-facilitate the conversation you want me to. I might take you up on that. We'll see. What would, if anything, make you comfortable sharing your MPD diagnosis with close friends, especially if issues starting to arise and they have no idea? I'll be honest, the first time I did it was because I wanted an excuse for how I was behaving. It's like, I'm mentally ill, I can't handle it. But that's the thing, that's the issue, is that how am I supposed to share my diagnosis when, like, you go on the internet and you see all these terrible things? People assume that I'm manipulating all the time. Hell, I reached out to somebody recently to apologize, and they still thought I was manipulating. I'm like, fucking Christ. I'm not. Really sucks. Hey, Visceral Gravitas, what's up here? Jay looks a bit angsty. I forgot to take my Adderall. So I'm doing, my ADHD is coming up. I look for forums that people talk about ASPD and giggle, right? Andrew, how did they react? I'm curious. What I find nuts is how many people were scared getting all my narcs bad sad. I wonder. They literally, I wish I could give you some insight into that, because, like, the same thing happens to me. They're like, we can't make boss man unhappy. I think it's because they would see how. Wait, should you ever want us to tell AFPD? I think I almost have the courage. Super Anxiety Chick, if you want to talk about your AVPD, I'd be down to do an interview with you. Hands down. Jacob is also, I'm also hungry. I'm very hungry, fuck. I won't have to call this stream. Jared's a friend with MBD and he got rejected and he feels like crap and he's joking about jumping off a cliff tomorrow when he's going skiing and won't talk to me, tell me what to do. Mar, that's fucking insane. I don't. Get the girl, get back with them. Fuck, because that's so relatable, but I don't know how. Like, I don't think that's enough to get him to actually commit suicide. I'll be honest. Fuck, I gotta think about that one more. I'll text you about that more. How far are you from Virginia? Probably about 5 hours, give or take. Tell me I can't tell I had a disordered personality gave me high functioning. I'm surprised. Yeah, Andrew, I'm like, that's like probably the best case scenario right there. That's on it. And not to mention that BPD is a lot less stigmatized nowadays. My ancestors are from Northern Europe. I'll get my revenge. No, don't hurt Mar. She didn't mean it. If I go to Postmates or something, I'm guessing that would be too far. So if I had Postmates... I'm not sure, but it might be expensive. For Fairbaum, unconscious attachment to internal objects is the glue that holds together all personality organizations. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know enough about that. I don't know enough about object relations and stuff like that. Have some lamb roast for dinner on the table. Yes, I want it so bad. Fuck. You guys are fucking me up. It's crazy to me that first when I started doing these lives, I only did them for an hour. Because nowadays it's like, I'll go on for like 3. The schizoid individual has too much glue. Interesting, in the sense that his internal attachments are so intense as... Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Is almost completely foreclosed to emotional attachments with internal... Yeah, because like they get really upset if anybody knows about them. Like anything about them. It's really interesting to me. Because I don't relate at all. But it feels like there's nothing to know, in fairness. Just don't eat them. Can't bring back the cannibalism. Yeah, honestly, I have come so far in that. I fucking love doing lives more normally. I'm too distracted from hunger right now to be like very entertaining, but I do enjoy them. Do you think super empaths really exist? You have to describe like empath is the thing. I do think that people with higher emotional empathy definitely exist. And I think there's some that they have it to a debilitating point. Like I know people who have thrown up because of how much empathy they felt, more or less. But it's hard to say what makes an empath because a lot of people have different definitions. Just want to say I'm proud of how far you... Aw, Eliza, thank you. I like looking at my old... I look at my old videos every now and then, and I hate it. And I'm like, fuck me. There is so much... Like, I can't believe how disordered I was when I started this channel. And nowadays, like, I'm still really disordered, but, like, I'm, like, a lot different. But also, I was in a very bad place when I started this channel, so it's hard to say. Doesn't that show progress? Probably it's a good thing or a bad thing. Both. I'm afraid of not being a narcissist anymore. I'm afraid of my defenses leaving, of me becoming too mellow. Also of me not being able to do this channel anymore. Because if I'm not a narcissist anymore, what even am I? It's one of the most consistent things about me that feels real. John Anderson, what's going on, dude? I can't believe how disordered I was. Think where it would be in 2 years. Yeah, fuck. I might actually be able to connect to people. That'd be wild. Amazing. You're doing amazing work. You're just spreading information. Aw, thank you. Jay, if you want to talk about it, what kind of coping mechanisms or tools have you learned in therapy that you feel have been helpful to you? I mentioned my anger one, where it's like rank my anger and compare it to the ranking of how serious the situation is. Like most of it's around anger, like 90% of it. Telling myself that, oh, this person wasn't intentionally hurting me. Thinking, like, actively being vulnerable with people to, like, show that I'm not unlovable. There's a couple big ones. This best mental health channel on the internet. Nobody can even compare. Aw, Sandra, you're flattering me. I can relate to someone with mental health issues pretty much because my identity is the only consistent without I don't know who I am. Yeah, it's an issue, isn't it? Because that's not healthy. That's not healthy for any of us. But it's also like, it's hard. The nameless ex-narcissist. That's funny. Become a narc therapist, that happens, right? Somebody called me the Marcia Linenham of NPD. Most flattering comment I've gotten in my entire life. Ugh. I can never comment anywhere but here. Oh, Mark. Are you active in your Reddit some? No, I'm not at all. My Reddit sub is so dead that I don't even bother with it most of the time. When I'm bigger, I'm sure, like, I'll probably make another announcement of, like, it's reopening. I mean, because I could probably get a decent amount of people in there now. I started it when I was only at 1,000. Why do you think you're a narcissist? Childhood trauma of the brain. Thank you for the answers. Interesting life. Thank you. I'm glad it's interesting because I feel boring right now. God, I feel boring. But both. I think my childhood affected my brain. Because if you look at some research, there are abnormalities in the brain. But I had a very traumatic childhood, so I imagine that definitely is what caused it to happen. Aw, Flex. Thank you. Slogan, it takes one to heal one. Amen. What has changed since you started this channel? Mainly being able to recognize how irrational I was being. A lot of the people I cut out or would get angry at or what I thought they were doing, or when I'm getting flighty in a relationship, it's way better than it was. Way fucking better. Mari's want to innocently remind you. Oh my god, please don't threaten Mar. She didn't mean it. Well, I'll help your branding on the business side. Ooh, thank you. I think my channel branding is honestly fucking incredible. I appreciate your openness that you add some lightheartedness to it. Aw, thank you. I mean, it's why be somber about it all the time? Because I don't have to be, people like me don't have to be bad. Wait, you guys are neighbors? Do you guys know each other in real life? But yeah, it's there's a lot of serious shit that happens to this that needs to be talked about seriously. But at the same time, it's you can't be morbid about it all the time. That's just not helpful for anybody. Come on, my new place. That's funny. Hi, what do you do if specialist personality disorders can't be found in my country? Also, stigma so bad. Fuck. I wish I had a genuine answer for it. I don't. Fuck. I would have. Heal MPD is really good. There's a guy that has healing for narcissism, something like that. I have him on. If you go on my channel, I have a list of channels that I recommend. There's healing, recovering from narcissism for narcissists, something like that. That's a really good one. Would you agree NPD is a flavor of complex trauma? I think all personality disorders are. I think every single one is. I think that we're basically just in advanced PTSD or CPTSD. Thoughts and Lee Hammock, I imagine you mean. I think it's Hammock. I'm not sure. I have similar feelings on him than I do. I've talked to him before. I respect him as a person. He's a pretty nice guy. But personally, I don't think he's a great resource necessarily on narcissism, but on abuse, he's great. Especially waking people up to their own abuse or and stuff like that, or how they're abusing or how they are abused. Lots of different. Also, I work at a place that hires felon. I'm sure my coworkers have PTSDs also. Oh, I bet. Do you get along with other narcs or do you get annoyed? I mean, I'm good friends with Tess. Me and Tess get along great. We have to be very careful with not getting into competitions with each other, but other than that, it's just so fucking nice to be able to relate to somebody. But then again, that's an aware narcissist. I don't know about an unaware one. I don't know, I feel Lee's stuff is too commercial and broad for me. I'm not going to make a huge comment on that, but generally, I don't find his content interesting or helpful, personally. But I can see how other people would. I've been seeing narcissists who seem more normal when drinking /edible. How does alcohol play a role? For me, it helps me calm down. It helps me not be constantly analyzing how people are thinking about me, constantly worrying about how if people hate me or how I'm being perceived. Alcohol makes social interactions tolerable. Fuck. I'm gonna end this here in a sec. I'll answer 3 more questions. I'm very, very hungry. Go eat. Thank you, Maggie Pie. I will. Nah, I need more questions first. Calm down, Mar. Yeah, like he's running out of things to say. That's something I really want to avoid. Yeah, I wish I could. I wish I thought of like making. Like I was thinking like maybe I should make a cluster B positivity journal. Be kind to yourself and stuff like that. Because I'm like, fuck me. I can't believe he's making so much money off of that. Do you suggest leaving a relationship with a narcissist? No. Well, let me rephrase. You can't choose to leave or stay in the relationship based off of whether or not they're a narcissist. You have to look at them as a person. How are you being affected? How are you being affected in the relationship? What are you willing to put up with? And there's resources out there to get along better with a narcissist, especially like Wendy T. Berry's, I don't know where it is, Disarming the Narcissist. Really good resource. 1 second. Really good resource on dealing with unaware narcissists. I think that to just view people through the lens of their pathology isn't helpful for you. Jacob, next poll on live, asking people to watch your Twitch. I'd be interested to see how that goes. It's a roller coaster ride. Yeah. I mean, fuck, I know I'm a roller coaster. My most recent ex even said that about me. If you had the risk of losing $50 to $100 million, would you give up all your progress and go full narc? I'll be honest, yeah, probably. I mean, like, is it, well, depends what you mean. Is it like, I want to go back to my narcissism just in case, because I think it might help me? Or is it literally like, you have $100 million, and if you don't go full narc, there's a risk that you'll lose it all? Because if it's the latter, then yes. If it's the former, probably not. Toadhouse says your awareness is awesome. Aw, thank you. You're never boring. Aw. I feel like everyone I know has an effed up life in some way, no matter race, gender, social class. Yeah. I mean, like somebody once, it may have been John Anderson actually, who suggested the term normally disturbed for people who don't have personality disorders, which I love, because nobody's completely normal. Nobody doesn't have any trauma. I mean, it just depends how you deal with the trauma and how serious it was and stuff. Not serious, how intense it was and stuff like that. How do you help a narc realize they're a narc? I have a video on that. My advice, they have to know something's wrong with them if you're going to do that. If they do know something's wrong with them, then Fotina's here, what's up? I would say I have a list on that video of like symptom criteria for narcissists that narcissists can actually relate to. Don't show them what the criteria is for, but just show them the list and be like, oh, I thought this reminded me of you a little bit. And if they're like, oh my God, I relate to this so much, then reveal that's narcissistic personality disorder. And them realizing it doesn't mean they'll change. Yeah, agree. Hands on. Some admit it and like they're like super like they're proud of it almost. They wear it as a badge of honor. They're like, yeah, I'm a narcissist. Yeah. They're like those defenses can be so intact sometimes that it's like it's almost impossible to get through to them. Mine found Lee's narc video is funny. That makes sense. What do you think about MPDs manifesting later in life? Like manifesting later in life or getting more intense? Because I don't think narcissists can exist. Like what if he had a drug addiction? He might be like it's actually in the DSM that you have to be like you have to rule out drug addiction instead of narcissism. So it may just be that his addiction is making him act narcissistically for an end to his narcissism. Or he's at a point in his life where he's just acting narcissistic. I don't think you can have NPD and it not originate in early childhood. But okay, I'm gonna call it here. Sorry that this was a pretty short stream. I'm just so fucking hungry. Yeah, please don't kiss Mars' feet. Anyways, thank you guys for coming, though. We had a lot of people show up. Oh, you referred to Freud. Oh, I didn't know that was a... yeah, I mean, that's usually what I say to normals, but even that says... even that feels kind of weird to me to say. Like, I don't like calling people normies. I think that's kind of weird. But yeah, normals I usually go to. But anyways, thank you all for coming. Sorry this is short. I'm hungry. And sorry I wasn't super interesting. I wasn't like super animated. I'm just tired because I'm hungry. Anyways, but yeah, I'll catch you guys later. I hope you all have a good one. Take your fucking meds, please.